The Iron Claw, directed by Sean Durkin, is a movie about the Von Erich family, a very infamous family that was involved in pro wrestling in Texas and in the WWE throughout the mid to late 70s and also throughout the 80s. This is probably one of my most anticipated movies of the year. I first heard of the plot synopsis, I don't even remember how long ago, and it just seemed very up my alley. I grew up being a pretty big professional wrestling fan. I'm still very intrigued by the politics of it and the backstage stuff. I watched a lot of Dark Side of the Ring, not the Von Erich one though, because I didn't want to spoil anything for this movie. Like the second I heard it was gonna come out, but I have I have a bit of knowledge already about the Von Erichs and what happened to them prior to the movie. So, I went into this movie honestly expecting to love it. Like I know I shouldn't do that, especially with newer releases. I shouldn't really ever go into a movie being like this is going to be the greatest thing ever. I'm so excited because that's how you get disappointed. But I'm very happy to say that the Iron Claw is not disappointing and is kind of everything I wanted out of it and more. Um, let's really delve into what makes the Iron Claw so special, and that is the emotional crux of this movie and the incredibly strong performances from pretty much everybody in the cast. You have Jeremy Allen White playing one of the brothers. He is doing a fantastic job as usual. You have the guy from the Lost Triangle or whatever the hell that movie is. He was in this movie and he was great as the oldest brother. Kevin Von Erich, played by Zac Efron. I like this is easily the best Zac Efron performance I've ever seen. He is giving everything to this performance, and I think he really needs to be commended for that. But just not so much really a particular person's performance and what they're doing with their performance, but the way they play off of each other and the way that the Von Erichs on screen feel like a real life family with dynamics and different pressures from their father and all of this stuff. It all felt genuine, and the bond felt between the four brothers was so genuine and so pure and so real, even though it was just a retelling of what actually happened. It made for the emotional stuff that comes towards the end of the movie hit that much harder. I've heard a lot of people talk about the first act dragging a bit, and I do understand that there are moments in the first act that I think could have. I don't think dragging is the right word here because it never moved at a pace that I didn't love. It was just a little too exposition heavy, I think. There was a bit too much setup to what the meat of the film was going to be about, and I think if we got more of the wrestling towards the beginning and more of the drama that would happen later on, it would have gone over a little better. But I personally wasn't bothered by it. I actually really like Lily Gladstone in this movie, which I know again a lot of people have issue with her performance. I don't really know why, but she was great. I thought that her relationship with Zac Efron's character Kevin Von Erich, really worked well on screen. It felt like like an awkward Texas couple. I don't know. It very the chemistry was there throughout the entire relationship, I felt. And what makes this movie so great, at least to me, is something I cannot spoil because it is, the main, it's the selling point of the movie. And I don't want to give anything about it away because even though I already knew the outcome of the story, I already knew what would happen to the Von Erich brothers in real life, but I didn't know how they were going to depict it in that third act, and it is emotionally devastating. This movie is going to hit you directly in your heartstrings and is not really going to let go until the credits roll because just the amount of tragedy and heartbreak and it's not hard to watch, but it's difficult to sit with, and it's been sitting with me for a couple of days, and just how impactful it was, and how mature it was, and how somber and poignant this entire movie was. I could see where some people are getting disappointed that this wasn't, a very A24 movie about cool wrestlers that, like I felt like a lot of people were wanting some of the movie to like almost semi glorify the life just to, make the emotional devastation that much worse. But I liked that instead they chose to focus on the family dynamics. They chose to focus on the father's manipulation and his lust for fame and power, and the amount of pressure he puts on each of his kids, and how that affected them. I think going that route, honestly, it worked a lot better for me. And I can see why people aren't absolutely loving this like I am. I can see where people, it's a flawed movie. Don't get me wrong. There are some performances in it that I'm like that. There were some budgetary restraints, very obviously, that I kind of held back some of the wrestling sequences to be the best that they could be. But I think that those all seem like really minor nitpicks in the grand scheme of things, and that everybody's performances, the main cast, and the amount of heartbreak and the amount of drama that they are able to squeeze from this story is really something special. And Sean Durkin, I really do have to commend, because I did not think he was the right fit for this movie, like at all. I don't even remember what movies he's made in the past, but they're not anything like, I don't know, they're not something I would say is visually striking, and this movie kind of needed to be, and it was. This movie had some of the most beautifully directed scenes I witnessed in a really long time. The cinematography really plays with I think character dynamics. It kind of like in certain scenes it's almost like a voyeuristic view, and we're like a fly on the wall with the family. But then when it's more when it was more personal with like Kevin and his dad, it was really tight shots. It's nothing like that's gonna make you go, wow, holy shit, that should be my computer screensaver. But it all really accentuates the scenes, and really fits the tone of the movie. So yes, I really really loved The Iron Claw. This is going to be one of my favorite movies of the year. I keep saying that. There have just been so much good shit coming out recently, and it's been awesome getting to review them. But yeah, I'm gonna give The Iron Claw a really strong A. I hope you guys go and see this movie. Definitely go see it with like a bunch of people. Get ready to get emotional, like very, very emotional, especially if you don't know anything about the story at all. Please don't look it up. Don't ask your friends. Go into it blind, because I went with a group of friends who didn't know what happened, and they were just completely devastated. It was yeah, it was a very moving experience getting to see this movie with a bunch of friends. But anyway, for me, I think The Iron Claw, it's a very personal film, and it's something that I connected with through personal experiences as well. But anyway, I'm going to give The Iron Claw a really strong A. This is, again, one of my favorite movies of the year. And yeah, have you guys seen The Iron Claw? What did you think of it? I'm going to probably see it 3 more times, just because I absolutely loved it. And yeah, other than that, I will see you at the next review.